Well, good evening traders. Welcome to another evening edition of the webinar. It is the 15th of August, middle of August already, and tomorrow is Friday, the end of the trading week. Just give me a yes please if you can hear me, and you should be looking at the Forex factory calendar. It's the end of the trading day for me, so there's no real news out now. We can look at the news for in the night and tomorrow, but generally speaking there isn't any that I will be paying attention to, so no real big news events there. Evening Sarah, Peter, Anthony said. Evening. No webinar yesterday, there was just nothing to talk about, and to be honest there was very little today, this morning. Wasn't going to do a YouTube live this morning, there was just nothing to talk about, and I didn't even have anything to put on the quick hit review video, so I didn't do one of those either. But we did see some movement this afternoon, so there are a few things which I'm keeping an eye on, which we will run through in the webinar. First of all, has anybody got any trade setups? Is anybody looking at anything? I do have a few things, as I say, on the radar, so if there is anything you're looking at, please put it in the chat and we will go over it. I have posted in a few trade ideas today, so if you was in the chat today you would have seen those. Says Euro Aussie. Oh, don't get me going on Euro Aussie. We'll talk about Euro Aussie because that thing's well on its way to those potential targets, but we do have another setup on the pound Aussie actually. It could be a low and tight flag, it could be a triangle. We'll take a look at it shortly. We will go over the Euro Aussie as well, and some of the trades. So let's start things off with the Aussie dollar CAD. Now I don't think I had anything on here. If I'm honest, I haven't done a review this afternoon. So you can see the workings out that we had the last webinar that we did, and we were looking at the head and shoulders, which has now violated structure and we're going bullish. Let's go and take a look at the dailies then. Peter says pound dollar 5-minute flag. 5-minute flag on pound dollar. Okay, let's just go and take a look at that. Where's my pound dollar gone? 1 second guys. Pound dollar 5-minute. I posted a potential flag in here, didn't I, Pete, a few hours ago on the 5 range. Here on the pound dollar. Okay, so I think Pete's looking at this. We've got a clear swing in the market. We're clearly bullish. We've had a move higher. We draw it out based on the closes of the candles. Duplicate it. Move it down. 4 touches as a minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ideally need it to come into structure, but that has not happened. Instead, as I do always mention, look for the retest before we get the breakout. So there you go, Pete, well spotted. We have now broken out in the right direction. I will simply I would look here at a 26.18 trade basically, which is actually at market at that 61.8 fib. So you can enter in now. Stops an ATR below the lowest point, currently 5 pips. So I would actually get 5 pips below that psychological number, the 120-100. We'll make that red. Just let me do that top down analysis here, just see if we can go for extended targets or not. Okay. My bias here on the daily, guys, is that we still haven't come down to this predicted area. And if you look at what we've done here, move lower, pull back, move lower, we are seeing a pullback now, so we could still see a little pop to the upside, but I would not expect the structure level to be violated. If anything, I would only be looking for shorts based on the daily, and I'm sure the 240s are very similar as well. Okay, let's go and take a look at the 60. For me personally, I would only play for a retest here. The reason being is we have this level of structure just here, and you can see we've hit that, and bigger picture is we are looking bearish. But you know, daily in 240 is indicating bearish. We've held structure on the 60. This is only minor and internal structure. So does the 5 minute really have any bearing on the daily in 240? Not really. If you are going to play for that extension, I would certainly play for 2 targets. So let me go down to the 5. In this instance I would anyway. So I would take initial targets at a retest of the closes of the candles here. That'll mean you have a positive reward to risk. And secondary targets if it's valid for you. For me personally, I wouldn't. I would only play for 1 target here. The trend is the opposite way, but if you are playing for secondary targets, then it's looking like that. Or if you're just a person that only plays for a 1 in 1 out, well, then you're going to have a very nice healthy reward to risk. What you could also do here is just wait for a small pullback to this trend line. Would you really want to miss the trading opportunity for the sake of a couple of pips it coming lower when you have a valid 26.18 trade? Well, that's a decision for you. I would personally enter in now and have a positive reward to risk. And apart from the last few weeks, these have around about a 65% win rate. Though I have posted in many trade ideas over the past week and a half of potential flags, and some we didn't enter and they're lost. So you take your pick. For me personally, you have a valid opportunity now. So guys, that's the pound dollar. We'll just move that one out the way for the time being, and I will bring back over the Aussie dollar CAD. Peter says he has found structure has been held quite well the last 24 hours. Yep, structure looking left. Apart from, Pete, what was the trade that lost before? The Aussie dollar Swiss, was it, or something? No, the dollar Swiss. The double top and the 26.18, although I'm actually still in that, but we violated structure. We will go over as well, guys, the pound yen trade. For those of you that was in the chat, when I lost on the flag pattern pound yen trade yesterday, the double bottom that got violated, I posted in the chat this will be number 9 that will go on to win, and it did. Shortly after it turned around and rallied and hit for 110 pips. So that makes number 9, guys. They can only be a certain number of times where I get stopped out on those trades and go on to win. It is now unprecedented for me to have so many trades win after being just stopped out. We'll come across that bridge when we come to the pound yen, but for now, let's take a look at the Aussie dollar CAD. Again, I don't have too much data loaded here, but you can see we've retested here, and we're now pushing higher into these wicks. Let's go and take a look at the 240. Okay, 240. This is not going to be a head and shoulders for me. Yeah, from memory, I would have to load more data. I'm just not going to do that, guys, because my computer's running slow anyway. But if this was a head and shoulders for you, it isn't for me because it didn't come into structure. But you've got a left shoulder here, a head, a right shoulder, and we're clearly pushing higher now. For me personally, again, it's not going to be head and shoulders. What I would say is, just looking at this, we're coming into the highs just up here. We could have an AB equals CD pattern. So from our swing low to swing high, we go and duplicate that. We move it over. You can see we then have, I'm actually going to drop to 60, guys, because we'll be able to see this a little clearer. Here we go. Okay. Here on the 60, AB equals CD pattern, we've come into structure. Do me a favor, guys, just throw in the chat what we're going to be looking for now that we've got an AB equals CD pattern that has come into our structure. First of all, let me reduce this down, and I'm going to leave just the wicks highlighted because we're going to be looking for one of 2 patterns. But throw in the chat what we're going to be looking for. There are several things that I like to look at when we analyze the charts, whether it be the AB equals CD pattern or something else. I've already given you a bit of a clue here, guys. I've highlighted just the wicks, so that means I'm going to be looking for a rotation pattern up here. So double top or a head and shoulders. Next thing I'm going to be looking for is a psychological number, typically every 100 for me, and there is not one here. The next thing I'm going to be looking at is the RSI. When we came into structure, did the RSI go oversold? And the answer is no, we did not have the RSI confirmation. So here on the 60, there's not going to be a valid double top. There may be on the 15. We'll take a look at that shortly. The next thing we can do is look for some fib confluence. So from our B point here to our C point, we do an inversion and we have a very minor fib there, a 1414. And if we look for an extension from the B point to the A point, we only have a 127 there. So 127 and a 141, they're very minor fibs for me. So the way things are looking at the moment, we've got no fib confluence, no RSI, no psychological number, but we have the ABCD pattern and we have it coming into structure. So since it's valid here on the 60, we are allowed to drop one time frame lower to the 15 and see if it has produced a double top within our kill zone. And right here, guys, I think everybody will agree we have now double topped within the highlighted price reversal area, meaning this is a valid double top. What we also need is confirmation in terms of the RSI, guys, and while there is divergence, I need the RSI on the Aussie dollar CAD to be over 80, and we are not. So unfortunately, while we do have the double top and the ABCD in structure, we don't have the confirmation in terms of the RSI. If you're a person though that takes the RSI from 70, then it's valid for you because you're at 74, nearly 75. So it would be a valid double top for you. For me personally, I need it to be over 80. So it's not going to be a trade I can take. However, if it is valid for you, and I'll draw this out now because the next webinar we'll be discussing this. You have an at market entry, very simple, stops go 1 ATR above the high. The ATR is 5.5, so I'm going to round that up to 6, and with it being under 20 pips, I'm going to give it a couple of extra pips as well. So that's going to make 49, which is just there. And you may also want to give it a little bit more because we know how the market has been moving quite unpredictably lately in terms of, well, look at my trading just being stopped out by a couple of pips on a lot of trades. So if you want to give it a few extra pips to stop that from happening, you can do, and you can simply look for a retest of the lows, giving you quite a nice reward to risk here. So I feel like I've just done a marathon in terms of talking there. What else do we have? What else? Okay, I don't think it's valid on the 15. You may have a Gartley on the 60. No, it's not going to be a Gartley for me. Any questions on the Aussie dollar CAD? If you want to take this trade but you wanted more confirmation, very simple. You wait for this level of structure to be violated, giving you a 26.18, a pullback into a 61.8 fib, and then a chance to get short. Again though, isn't going to be one for me. If there's no questions, I will move on to the next one because, as I say, there are a few trades I want to talk about. I am short euro dollar, guys, on a triangle, which is going the wrong way. Okie dokie, Aussie dollar. Okay, last time we looked at this, we were actually looking at this level here, and we were saying that we could see a bounce at this zone, and in actual fact that's exactly what we got, and we got to a retest of the highs here. So that came off, but there was no opportunity for me, so let's take a look at the dailies and work our way lower. Okay, there's been, after a lot of bearish candles here, lots and lots of selling pressure. We had this big wick followed by a higher high, higher close, and all we've done, guys, is sideways movement. And look at the sideways movement, up and down, up and down, up and down. This is indecision. This is Trump tweeting. This is Brexit. This is Aussie new. What's going on in Australia as well. This is just indecision. We're seeing bounces of 70 pips from side to side here. So when we see sideways movement like this, we're going to either see a bullish breakout or a bearish breakout, and we can increase our odds by looking at structure. So if I put a structure level on at this major level of structure just here and look at what's been going on, we can see that we actually have a structure hold. So here on the dailies, I would not be interested in selling the market. At the same time, this would not be a valid double bottom for me, even though we have the RSI confirmation. The reason it's not going to be something I'm interested in is because my stop would need to go an ATR below this level, which is a huge amount actually. We're looking at about that much of risk, and I have no projection on where targets are going to go here, guys. So all I would say is that we are making lower highs, as you can see here, and we could break this level, but right now all I want to do is just wait and see what the market does. I think on the 240 we did violate, yeah. So here on the 240 we violated to the downside, and really from this point I don't have a great deal. We had a directional move higher, and then we came up for a test here. But this wouldn't be a channel for me either. Well, you could make it a channel, I suppose. It wouldn't be a flag. Sorry, that's what I mean. It wouldn't be a flag because this test here came up to retest the closes of the candles. So we've got no confirmed coiling here, no confirmed wedging. However, you can trade the channel. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. Just let me reposition this on the closes of the candles. And in a channel, if you can catch it, then what we end up doing is within these zones just here, we end up seeing rotation patterns. And you can play this to the other side. So as we drop down the time frames, we can look for that rotation pattern, guys. And right here, we have a double top. Does it have the RSI confirmation? Yes, it does. On the first test, we went over bought with divergence. So right here, guys, you have a valid opportunity to sell the market. So stop as usual, an ATR above the high. The ATR is 10, so that makes it dead on that psychological number, 6,800. You could put it a few pips behind that if you wish, and I would just simply play for a retest of the lows, something like this. Not too far. You don't want to try and overextend your target. Giving you a very positive reward to risk, 25 for 39 pips. I just need to make that green. I hate leaving it blue. I like it green. Green is for money, not red. Green. Yellow green will do. It'll do. It's close enough, guys. Close enough. Let's take a look at the 15 then. 15, you've got more confirmation here, guys. You've got another double top. This double top was confirmed right here. You had a confirmed break below, close below the V point. That means you have a valid 2618 trade, and we've already pulled back, and it has also then double topped again just here. So that actually means you could now get your stop 1 ATR above this level. So that would reduce your risk down on this trade. The ATR is 5. Well, you might want to leave it where it is. It's a little bit safer, but you could reduce down your risk to something like this, giving you a little bit more of a positive reward to risk. What would that reduce your risk down by? Till about 21 pips. So almost giving you a 2-to-1 reward to risk there on that trade. Any questions on the Aussie dollar, guys? If we had a direction on this, you could actually take profit ones and see if we could get the breakout, but I have no direction. As I say, on the dailies we've held structure, and we're clearly in consolidation on the dailies, and we're just going to wait for the market to make up its mind. So quite a few things this evening that are actually setting up. We're seeing some movement as well on some of the currency pairs. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just looking around at the other currency pairs. Okay, Euro Aussie. Does anybody want to comment on the Euro Aussie before we talk about this? I'm going to be very honest here, guys. I let my emotions take control of me on this trade, and I sabotage that trade. And it's typical that it's probably going to be the biggest trade that is probably going to go on to win. We will wait and see, I guess. Peter says, I'm 33 pips up on the double bottom on the Euro Aussie. Okay. Pete's in this. Did it come in at structure, Pete? We'll take a look at it very shortly. First of all, I'm just going to delete the information off. Said he made a break below close below on the 4 hour. My initial, I would have to underwrite it properly, but I hate to say it, but I was really only looking short. But heck, what do I know? Everything I touch lately just loses. I don't know what's going on lately with my trading, but I'm just having to put up with it and deal with the drawdown. That's all I can do. That's all I can do, guys. So Euro Aussie, we'll take a look at it on the daily. Come on, computer. I say it's been running a little bit slow. It's probably all the shouting I've been doing at it lately. I don't think it's very happy with me. I spoke to my IT guy. He's having real trouble creating the graph for the website, and I said, look, just have a break from it, just put it to one side for now. And he actually said to me, he said, what's the reason for that? He said, is it because the trading hasn't been going too well lately? I could not help but laugh. And he doesn't trade, but I said, yes, Matt, that is the exact reason. So even he has picked up lately that my trading has been a little bit off. So Euro Aussie structure level in. We know that we're at a minimum of 6-year highs up here, and we'd actually held structure. We'd had a 200 pip long wick test candle, and followed by a lower close. So this was a strong signal at this 16600 psychological level with the RSI massively overbought that we were going to see a bearish move. As we drop down to the 240, my concern was that when it loads, that the head and shoulders had violated structure. So what I mean by that is we had a nice directional move, a pullback, and then just here we can clearly see that it violated structure. So that was my concern, but I did say that we want to wait for extra confirmation, so we had the move lower. This move lower gave us an initial structure low. So what that means is quite simply we broke and closed below the outside return. The very low is just here, guys. We broke and closed below it, an indication that we could be seeing a rotation. I did also go on to say though that I wanted to look for, or I said at least that it would be nice to see a retest, a double top at this level. Now we double topped up here. It wasn't valid for me because we didn't have the RSI confirmation. Instead, on the 60, was it? I think it was the 60. I can't quite remember. Wait for the 60 to load. But like said, says down here we've now had a confirmed break below, close below on the 240. Right, here was the double top. Once again, I couldn't use it as the entry because the RSI was not overbought. However, we had a clear break below, close below. I entered based on a 2618 just here. we had the move lower, we held structure, we did not get confirmation that we'd violated that level, and then what happened is we saw very, very bullish movement, and I thought that once again we were going to see some big whipsaw action and we were going to rally up, and I let my emotions take control of me and I moved to break even just here. So let me throw in a fib, because I got involved at that 61.8. Yeah, not too sure if I got involved a little bit afterwards, but anyway, I moved to break even and we spiked up, got stopped out, move lower, pull back, and now we've violated structure. So the probability of this trade going on to win has certainly increased dramatically. So yeah, I have let my emotions get the better of me, and what is the reason for that? If I'm completely honest, it's the number of losses that I've seen. I let my emotions get the better of me. I didn't want to take a 65 pip loser when I saw the market rallying. Now, I'll be honest guys, it's not very often. In fact, it's been a long time that I've knowingly sabotaged a trade. And I moved to break even. I even posted on Telegram Messenger that we're seeing a move, it's unpredictable, erratic, we're seeing that obscure behavior again, so I moved to break even. And sod's law, you know, that's the trade that would have earned back 80% of the drawdown. But as I always say, just because we missed our entry or we messed it up, I messed it up, doesn't mean that we're out the trade, because we have now violated structure, and this would be the key level to pay attention to. So as we pull back into this zone, we can look in particular just here guys for a rotation pattern. If not, we can look in this zone or even the last chance entry as well, because bigger picture, market still has room to come lower here for that AB equals CD pattern. And the reason I said at the start of this that I was looking short, evening Stuart, that I was looking short, was because we're in trend, we had a directional movement, and I was looking at a potential low and tight flag. So wasn't a valid double bottom for me, but it's had the move. I don't know how high this will actually go, but we're coming into this resistance level just here. We may even just hold this structure level, guys. Was there any structure looking left here? Let's take a look. Well, you got a very minor level there. 1, 2, 3 kind of range there. So I can see what Pete's looking at. So I don't know where your targets are, Pete, but it looks as though that you've now just had a confirmed break above, close above. So again, I would be very, very cautious here with your targets. Bigger picture, we're bearish. On the 240, we've clearly just violated structure. And this candle could simply be a little pop before we see it all the way turn around and put in a lower low, lower close. So I'd be very, very cautious. So I certainly wouldn't enter on a 26.18 either. So there's still opportunity there to short the market. The problem here on the 15 is that I cannot short the market because we have a rotation pattern. So we have to go back to the 60 and we have to wait for a lower low, lower close within this level here, or even a last chance entry. So that is the Euro Aussie. Anything on that one, guys? Stuart, just saying that there's a few opportunities at market. None that I'm actually taking, to be honest with you. But AB equals CD pattern on the Aussie dollar CAD, double top. And there is also a channel on the Aussie dollar which has given a valid double top opportunity, 20.1 pips for 39. And yeah, the Euro Aussie that we've just been over as well, guys. What's happening on the Euro Yen? Let's take a look. Gaps. Actually, there was nothing on the Euro Yen, guys. I'm just going to move that to the side. We will take a look at the I'm going to go ahead and do the pound yen. We'll talk about the trade, the ninth trade guys, ninth trade that stopped me out before going to hit targets. It's finding it difficult to deal. Not so much the drawdown, but more so another trade which has won for 100 pips and just stopped me out. It was on the 15, but we'll go ahead and do the high time frame analysis. Stuart says, yeah, looks busy for a Thursday. Yeah, there's a few opportunities there, that is for sure. Pound yen. Again, don't have enough data loaded here, but we're at new lows now. Minimum of 3-year new lows here on the pound yen. And not a great deal going on here. Really pretty much a straight move on the dailies. Let's take a look at the 240. 240 then. So reading the trend, new low, pullback, new low. This was the breakout pattern. New low and a pullback. Now, if there is room to go lower, I'm not going to load any more data, guys, but if there is room to go lower, the middle of these breakout patterns are the areas that you want to look, and we've come up for a retest. Now, this wouldn't be a valid double top for me, but this could very well be the turning point where we come lower for a retest and even make a move lower. Let's go and take a look at the 60. 60 is very ugly for me because we are very bearish and we've come into that middle of that rotation pattern. I wouldn't be looking at the market going any higher. In fact, if we go to our pattern, which one? This was the flag, move higher. We drew it out based on the closes of the candles. We duplicated it. So this is how it looked, guys, in real time. 1, 2, 3, 4. It didn't come into structure, but this is how, actually it was on the 5, wasn't it, guys? This is how it looked. We had a double bottom here. It got confirmed. It was confirmed because we had a break above, close above, pull back for a 26.18, stops below this level. We had the RSI confirmation. The market came a little lower and turned. Targets were at 10 pips before this 12900 psychological number. So just to show you where they were, boom, 110 pips it was for, guys, and we were just stopped out. Yeah, it was 110 pips, not 125. If we look at the higher time frame now, and Pete, I know that you had another bite at this, didn't you? There was another double bottom that formed just down here. This one actually came into structure from the look of it. Yeah, it just tapped structure. Look at that. This one just tapped structure. So that trade came off, guys, and I've just never had so many trades. This trade here now, that one and the euro dollar the other day. Pete, you remember that one, don't you? You remember that one. That one also just tapped us out. I actually think that's 10 now. That's just shy of 700 pips in 4 weeks. 700 pips of trades that have gone on to win after just stopping me out. Now that is really unprecedented for me, and that's what I'm really struggling with. Can I use that? Can I blame myself for that's the reason why I moved to break even on the Euro Aussie, the one trade that's probably going to go on to win for 330 pips? Well, I can't lay blame. It's solely on me. But that's what I'm struggling with, guys. And Peter says he ended up plus 85 but was up 120 at one point. Okay. If in this instance, what I would say here, Pete, is we're clearly bearish. We've come into a rotation pattern just here. In actual fact, from memory, there was room for the market to come lower. The middle of these rotation patterns is when we really see structure held and we start to see the market come lower, if there is room to come lower. So if you were playing for an extension, I most certainly would have taken first targets just here. As you can see, I front run by 10 pips. Price actually came 1 pip below that 12900 psychological number, so that's why I front ran this by 10 pips. So yeah, I mean, price still could go higher. My opinion is that we're going to come lower here, guys. So yeah, just in future, Pete, depending what your rules are, obviously, but just here, I would have taken at least half my position here. Stuart says, it's my fault, I have no luck with money. Good news for you, because you should start winning now. Oh, yeah. Yep. Hope so, Pete. Otherwise, we're going away. We're away next week, guys. I leave on the 24th for a week. I do have internet on the cruise ship, though, and I'm away at Christmas as well. And so we just paid out. The cruises are so expensive at Christmas, at £10,000 on the cruise for 2 weeks in the Caribbean, for 4 weeks. So I need to start earning some money, guys. You know, I'm down, I don't know, 8.5%, 9%, something like that. I'm getting close to 10%, guys. Okay, that's quite a lot for me. It really is. So the winners have to start coming in sooner. So anyway, that is the pound yen, guys. We'll take a look at the 15. You know they'll start rolling in while I'm on the cruise. You know that, don't you? I just can't believe. Here's the thing, guys. Okay, I don't want to keep harping on about this, but I have shown multiple winning trades. We've had multiple trades that have gone on to win that have just stopped us out because of the news. There's nothing we can do about that. All of them had proper stop placement. And yeah, I just don't know whether or not this losing streak has come to an end. My maximum drawdown is 15%, and I'm getting close to 10. Okay. So am I getting worried? Do I think this is going to be the end of my trading? If you remember, guys, when the website first got started, things were flying. You know, I was still on a hot streak. We were still seeing decent win rates. We were still seeing good rewards to risk. We were still seeing breakout patterns win. We were still seeing structure hold and win. And, you know, we were in pound and dollar trades. And that's what's really demolished the trading. Whether or not my losing streak has come to an end, I don't know. But that's the pound yen. I will go over the pound Aussie. The pound Aussie is a 50-50 trade for it to go bullish or bearish. Don't know which one it's going to do. But we will take a look at that right after the euro dollar, guys. We'll just take a look at the euro dollar. I think I've been stopped out of this trade now, which is just no surprise. No surprise. But triangle, guys, triangles have around a 65% win rate, and you can clearly see here, guys, this was the top of structure, which is now being violated. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry, just have to send that text to that person. Been waiting all day. Okay. So, euro dollar, guys. Pete, lol, end of times. It will return. Here's the thing. You look at my YouTube channel, okay, for this year, I've been doing very, very well. Significantly more winners than losers. Big winners as well. Lots of breakout patterns. Been phenomenally well. The last 3.5 weeks, I have barely posted a trade on YouTube. I've actually reduced down posting a lot of trades on there anyway, because there's actually a lot of time for me to go back and do the second half of the video. put it all together, upload it to the different sites and things, and because of the amount of time I'm spending at the computer, I've decided to stop posting as many things on there. But if I had have been doing that, in fact, you'll just see I've really been stopping doing it, you would have just seen countless losses on there. So euro dollar though, euro dollar guys, we spoke about this last time, the move lower. This was a low and tight flag. We'd had a break below, close below. We were seeing a pullback. I said look out for these wicks. Sorry, look out for this structure and look out for these wicks just here. We have bigger wicks to the upside than to the downside, and we could see a breakout to the downside here. That's exactly what happened, but again, you know, it's just not provided any sort of entry for me. We initially bought this up based on a valid coiling on one side, something like this. It might have been both sides actually, and when we violated structure just here, I only do this on breakout patterns. When we violate structure the wrong way, I exit the trade, because if you go ahead and test these, that if we violate structure the opposite way, we have a significantly lower chance of that trade going on to win. So we manually took a loss here, I think for 11 pips. And you can see it was the right decision because we broke to the downside. So there was just no opportunity for me here to sell the market once we'd had this, you know, violation. In fact, we were looking for a short if we were pulling back into this zone just here. So we had the break below, close below. We were looking for a short actually within this zone. You can see price pull back, not to our price reversal zone, and now we've seen another move lower. Now what I would say is that when the outside return does not come back in to retest the previous outside return, this is a sign that we're going to start trending very heavily. Long extensions, small retracements, long extensions, small retracements. The retracements don't even come into the outside return. So this is where you can start being a little bit more aggressive, maybe drop down to the 5 range. I would here though start looking now at this outside return and the first chance entry, so you can drop down to the 15, and that's why I took this trade, guys. So move lower. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in trend, we're breaking directionally, and what can I say, guys? What can I say? They have a 65% chance of winning. So I'm out of that. Will it go on to win? Will it go on to win? We will tune in tomorrow to find out. So euro dollar off to the side, and the reason I'm laughing, guys, is because I know that the winners will come. That is all I can say. I know the winners will come. Just very quickly, guys, I just want to bring back over the Aussie dollar CAD for those of you that are interested in taking it. I said if you wanted to be a little bit more cautious, wait for the confirmed break below, close below. You now have that. You can now wait for that 26.18 and that sell opportunity. I'm personally not going to take it. I have actively sabotaged the Euro Aussie, so I am actively going to allow my emotions to settle down. If it goes on to win, tough for my bank balance. My psychology is more important. My bank balance will always go back up. My psychology, unfortunately, cannot be repaired as quickly. You can see you getting the move lower now on that one as well. It would be nice to come back tomorrow and see those two win. I also, Euro Aussie, I am going to go over this because this is a 50-50 trade, whether we're going to go bullish or bearish. And I want to talk over why I think it's 50-50 and why I took the trade based on it only being a 50-50 trade. So, daily time frame. Daily time frame. I think I've got about 80 pips of risk on this trade, and if it loses, well, it is part of my drawdown. I will take it. I am not going to sabotage another trade. So do me a favor, guys. when I draw out the trend, I want you to tell me whether we're in trend or not. Move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back, move lower. So when I highlight, or when I put a structure level on just here, and that is the high of the outside return, and I put a structure level on down here, which is the lows, do we have a confirmed break above, close above our outside return? Give me a yes or a no first of all. Do we have a confirmed break above, close above this level here? This is the outside return. Nope. Okay. And do we have a break below, close below this level, guys? Give me a yes or a no. The answer is no. Okay. So no and no. So we are not in trend. This is consolidation. Consolidation, guys. Okay. The reason it's consolidation. Well, actually, yes, you could. I would look more bearish here. We don't have, though, a confirmed break below, close below. If we had this, okay, now we're carrying on the trend, but we didn't. We actually held this level. Now, we didn't violate to the top side, so there is no bullish or bearish sign here. Overall, I would look bearish, but we're just in consolidation here, guys, and look at what price action is doing. Look at all this sideways movement here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th day of sideways movement. We're going to break out here one way or the other. Now, my bias here is going to be short, even though we've got this retest. Bigger picture here is we're still coming lower. But let's go and take a look at the 240. We know how unpredictable and how strange the pound has been. Now here on the 240, what we had is we had a confirmed break below, close below here, and then the market rallied and had a confirmed break above, close above here. But then we've done something very interesting here. We've got a very direction, we've got a swing in the market, and we've got a very decent pole. Now this pole, if we duplicate this, we have had 1, 2, 3. I've had a few more touches at the top, but this would be your 4th touch. Okay, so even if this is not a bearish low and tight flag, what do we have here, guys? Okay, we know that this is not a double bottom. The reason we know it's not a double bottom is because look left, it has not come into structure lows, it has not come into any form of structure whatsoever. So if that's not a double bottom, what is this just here, guys? And I've drawn it out with these 2 parallel lines. It's a channel. Exactly. Yeah, Pete, exactly. It is a channel, and within this channel we know it's not a double bottom, so we know that the probability of us breaking to the upside is very low because it didn't come into structure. We've actually held this level up here now 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And we've come up, we've put in a bearish red candle, and we are up within this zone. And what do channels do, guys? Just post it in for me. Channels bounce from one side to the other. Now, so we have a channel which, if it's not a low and tight flag, pretty much only has, in my opinion, a 50-50 chance. It could break bullish, it could break bearish. That's what channels do. Okay, but what we have an area of consolidation, and we know it's going to break out. And what that means is if we're at the highs here, well, we have a positive reward to risk, even if we only have a 50-50 chance of it breaking bearish. And the same if it was the other way as well. If you was looking at buying it up, you'd buy the bottoms and you'd still have a positive reward to risk, even though it's a 50-50 chance. Now, the reason I sold the market was because if we go to the 60, tell me, guys, what did we have just up here? And I'm going to do this in real time. Right here, guys, what is this? And remember, within channels, just Just catching up with it, Ted. Yeah, table tennis, exactly, back and forth. And with all the uncertainty going on, guys, we actually could see a very large channel for a long period of time here, or at least until Trump tweets or until some news comes out about Brexit. These channels can go on for several weeks, so do not be surprised if we see a lot of up and down movement here. Okay, we see a double top, and with the double top we've had a confirmed break below, close below. Now, why then did I sell the market based on a 26.18? So I sold the 61.8 fib. I got a slightly better reward to risk up here, something like that. The reason I sold it was because, look here, we did not come down to test the lows of structure or the lower level of the channel. So based on all of that, even if this is not a low and tight flag and it's only a channel, then we had a 26.18, and I gave this extra room above this level, a full ATR above this level, and a little bit more to allow for the market to come up for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a fifth test. Now, if you wanted to wait, you certainly can do, but if we come up to this level again, we have another double top. Now for me, I'm obviously short this currency pair anyway, but the RSI here was overbought at 77. You may or may not have divergence. If we go higher, you'll have to wait and see, but you have another valid double top just in that zone there. Okay, so there are my reasons for selling the market. Now, there are other people that have bought it. I think the channel, if it's a channel, well, it is a channel, has a 50-50 chance of going either way. And that's my reasons for selling it, guys. Do I think the pound is going to do me over again? Probably. I'm not optimistic, put it that way, but they are the valid reasons why I sold the market. And here's the thing, guys. I don't trade based on sentiment. I trade based on what structure is telling me. We're in a channel. We've had the channel has been confirmed because we see rotation patterns, don't we? Triple bottom, double top. I seem to recall on the lower time frame there was something just here. Let me drop to the 15. I really thought there was, but anyway. So they are my reasons for doing it, guys. Also on the 15, for anyone that's interested, guys, move higher, pull back, move higher, pull back. Anybody see one of my favorite patterns, which has been diabolical for the last month here, guys? Anybody see that potential head and shoulders? Now, this hadn't formed when I entered, but I was keeping an eye on it. Just let me delete this information off so you can see it a bit clearer. What I'm going to do, guys, is drop down to the 5. I wonder if we've got a double top up there, because you guys may have an at market. Okay, so this is it on the 5. So I move higher, pull back, I move higher, we pull back. So this was the head and shoulders here. What I was looking at was really this zone here to see if we were going to get a double top up here, but we didn't. So we've got no confirmation this is a head and shoulders though. We did not get an initial structure low here because this was the outside return, so we didn't have a potential rotation, and we didn't get a double top here. So I don't know what's going to happen here. It's a potential. It could very well as well be a trend continuation, because we actually held the outside return down here. But does everybody understand the reasoning why I sold the market? It is not due to sentiment. It is purely down to the technicals. Whether or not it wins, I can't control that. I can't control it. What you could do if you wanted to was quite simply, if this is only a channel for you, is when we come back down to retest the other side, you hear that optimism? When we come down to test this lower level. You could move to break even, or you could even take your targets here, guys. Wait for that head and shoulders to be confirmed. Get involved short. And bigger picture is we could come down to this lower level. Who knows what the news will do? It's one thing for sure, I've got to be on the right side of the news one of these times. Can't be on the wrong side every time. The law of averages says I can't be on the wrong side every time. So pound Aussie, let's move that one out the way. What else do we have? Okay, pound dollar, you've got an out market entry if you want it, guys. On that flag pattern, as I say, I'm staying out of the trade, so that's actually 3 potential opportunities there this evening to get involved with. I'm staying out for now. Okay, pound New Zealand, I did put this trade in the chat and it is a valid breakout pattern. I did not post it as a signal. Staying out of the trades as mentioned. Let's go to the dailies. So on the dailies, move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back, move lower. We failed to put in a new low. Okay, so this level is held just here. This was the outside return, and look at what we've done. We've actually held that structure level. Now what I would say is that this double bottom has now been confirmed, because just here, I'm just going to put a structure level on just here. So this is the V point of the double bottom. We've now had a confirmed break above, close above, and we did pull back for a 26.18 trade. So you can see just here it tapped the 61.8 fib, and it looks as though we're going higher. Now there's absolutely nothing here that I'm interested in though, but you do have a swing in the market, a directional move, and you had the market adhering to trendline structure. 1, 2, 3, 4th test up here. Did it come into any structure looking left? Not really, but dropped down to the 60 and you can see we've clearly had a reaction at this zone. Let's go down to the 15 and looks as though you have a head and shoulders here, so I'm going to drop to the 5. I think you'll be able to see it a little clearer. No, I'll stay on the 15. Okay, move higher, pull back, move higher, tested structure, held structure right here. You now have a confirmed break below, close below, giving us an initial structure low, and you could now look for a pullback and quite simply then a lower close in the left shoulder, and a chance to sell the market for a minimum retest of this level, or if you believe it's a flag, all your position off at this level, or again if you just like playing for the 127. If you do, well, you can use that head and shoulders and get a very nice reward to risk here, something like 370 pips of reward for probably 100 pips of risk. So almost a 4-to-1 reward to risk if you believe you can get the breakout to the downside. So what else has gone on? We've been through quite a lot of currency pairs there, guys. I've been talking for quite a while. Does anybody have any setups? I'm just having a quick scout around at some of the other currency pairs, guys. The Euro New Zealand is interesting. I don't like the pole, but higher time frame here, guys, you're looking long. So what we did here was we had a move higher, a pullback, and then right here we violated the structure level just here. Okay, so looking bullish here for me. If you go to the 240, and just let me change this template. Okay, so here in the 240, if your bias is long, then you have this little swing in the market, a relatively decent pole. You have at least one side which is coiling, so 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4. You could be looking for your fourth test. This is a key level for me right here, but that would mean we would need multiple tests, another move up here and a move lower. So you do have some internal structure just here which you could pay attention to. Let's drop down to the 60, and this is one where you can play for the breakout, the 127, because you've got the daily confirmation, and this is a massive trade, guys. And I've said this before, you know, it only takes 1 or 2 of these big trades to come off. If you get a decent entry down here and this trade comes off, 600 pips, guys. Okay. Let's drop down to the 60. Within these channels we tend to see rotation patterns, and we don't have that here. Let's just take a look on the 15. So may not be the best flag pattern. The pole itself may not be valid either. We'll have to wait and see how this forms. You could get something like a little double bottom down here. Any questions on the Euro New Zealand? I will move that one out the way. Is anybody long the pound Aussie, or is anybody short? Long or short the pound Aussie? I know a few people are long. Good luck to you. How's our Aussie dollar Swiss trade doing? I know we were winning. I've seen that happen so many times. So this is a beauty of a trade, this, guys. Head and shoulders on this one. Is anybody along the Aussie dollar Swiss? Pete short with me. Nope and nope. The Aussie dollar Swiss. I'll make this the last one, guys. It's late, I'm hungry, and the wife's just got back from meeting her friends. Okay, so I'm going to run through this. I know I already sent out a video on this, but I do want to run through it again. Damn it, I don't have enough data loaded. Okay, let's load the data. This is quite a nice trade because we have, from memory, potential head and shoulders, several double bottoms. I'm not too sure if we had a 2618 either, but we'll run through this. And we had a structure hold as well, which was what I was interested in. So I'm going to put a structure level in at the close of the candle and at the low of the wick and look left. Okay, so right here, guys, right here, major level of structure, clear structure hold. Now this could be a valid double bottom for you. If it is, then you had the RSI confirmation, so massively oversold with divergence. I'm actually going to put another structure level in as well at the close of those candles just there. We're going to drop down to the 240. Might take a second to load because it's loading a few more candles right now. Okay, so right here, right here, this lower level of structure, you can see we came down to test it and we held. So this right here is also a valid double bottom on the 240 with the RSI confirmation, massively oversold with divergence. And if we zoom out, what we had is we had a directional move. So there was a swing in the market first of all. Not a very big swing, but you can clearly see this was a key point in the trend. there was a triangle here, and from that point we moved lower, and before we came to test structure lows we saw a pullback. That's the first sign that we're going to see a head and shoulders. We came into structure, we physically held structure, we went higher, we came lower for the double bottom, and we went higher. So we failed to put in an initial structure high up here. That was my concern. However, if we what did we do here? Okay, we held here on the 240 first of all, and you can see that we've put in multiple higher high, higher closes. If we drop down to the 60, we had a confirmed double bottom somewhere. Okay, I think it was on the 15, so let me drop to the 15. Yeah, here it was, just here, guys. Didn't really happen at any form of structure, but it was confirmed. We had the break above, close above. I actually bought it once we broke out. I didn't want to miss the trade. Again, I had a very positive reward to risk, a small amount of risk and a large amount of reward. I didn't want to wait for a 26.18, but if you did, then you got a very nice entry here. As you can see, look at that. We just came down to tap the 61.8, one of the very few double tops and double bottoms I've actually seen hold structure and go in the right direction. Now what does that mean? Well, it means that higher time frame here, that as a minimum we can look for a retest up to this level. So there is around 187 pips up for grabs, and what I'm expecting here is a break above, close above this level, and what that will really do is give us a lot of confirmation that we're going to go higher, because when we violate a major level of structure, major for me is minimum of 3 tests or a very big test that's held on the dailies, then when we see a pullback, this major level of resistance will become major support and will give us the support we need to continue up. You may even see a far bigger move here up into this outside return, maybe up into the middle of it. Let me just go over to the dailies. In fact, I'm probably going to adjust targets on this, guys, because we've come into a major level of support, and look how directional the chart have been. And I would look for a minimum here of a pullback to a 382, so maybe a little bit higher from where we were initially taking targets. Yeah, up at this 6800 psychological number. So I think we can get another 50 pips out of that trade. So I hope I've broken that down for you quite well. So double bottom, RSI confirmation, structure hold, another double bottom on the 240, potential head and shoulders, then a 15-minute confirmed double bottom. Usually this is how my trading is, using multi-time frame analysis, using multiple structure levels, using double tops, double bottoms, breakout patterns, putting them all together, building a high probability trade. So it's looking like a good trade. That I don't want to say too much. I don't want to wake up in the morning and something happened in Australia. So we're in that trade, guys. What else? I think that's it, guys. I don't think I have too much else to go over. There are, as I say, multiple opportunities at market. Some of them look like they're coming off. Did anybody take the Aussie dollar CAD? Give me a yes if you did. And did anybody take the Aussie dollar? We'll come back to that tomorrow. I will be doing a YouTube live in the morning, because we will have something to talk about. We'll either talk about, oh, those trades we spoke about this evening went on to win, or no, they didn't. Yep, you're in those. Best luck, guys. Valid opportunities, that's all we can do. We can only take those valid opportunities. Apart from the guys, thank you very much for joining me. I enjoyed this webinar, something to talk about, and I will see you all in tomorrow's session.